Hey guys, Patriot coming to you from the front of the house today. I've got the contents for my 7-day wilderness backpack laid out in front of you right here, and this is actually going to be part 7 to that series. And one of the reasons for making this video or starting off this part 7 this way is so that somebody doesn't actually have to go through parts 1 through 6 to find out what I'm carrying in this backpack. So I just wanted to reintroduce the series. I'm going to be carrying on with this a little bit, talking about different things, and this is the way that I kind of wanted to start it off. Another reason I was kind of spurred on to get this video made is there's a lot claims out there about the size and weight and duration of a pack's capability, and of course this is going to depend on many things, and weather and topographic features and regional features depending on where you're located, and also person's skill set. So in theory, somebody with a higher skill set should be able to use less items or be comfortable with less items. Another person like myself might want a few comfort items in there just to make it comfortable, because I don't know what I might be using this pack for. It might be an unknown scenario, and you know, sometimes we just can't control the environment or the situation that we're thrown into. So this is just my basic 7-day wilderness backpack. Recently I saw a post on Facebook for Randall's Adventure, and I can't remember who it is. It might have been the owner of Randall's Adventure. He had a Granite Gear jalapeno pack. I think it's about 2,200 cubic inches, and he had his weight listed at 22 pounds. Now this included a climbing harness, I believe, 50 feet of rappel rope, some ascenders, carabiners. He didn't really say exactly what was in the kit, and I could only kind of guess what he had in there based on the questions that were asked to him and the way that he replied. So there's a lot of ambiguity there, and I'm not putting down his system at all. That's not what this is about. I just want to make the point of, whenever you do see a claim made about a pack's weight and its capability, you always want to ask the questions. In this case, he's an instructor, so why does he only need a 22-pound pack? Why does he only need 1 quart of water? Why is it a 5-day pack to him for what he says easily a 5-day pack? I'm guessing that means a 7-day pack hard. Apparently he feels that he could do 7 days. He didn't have any extra clothes that I know of. He says he doesn't wear underpants, and he only needs 1,000 calories a day. So I don't know what that means. Maybe that's when he's out training, in which case maybe he has the support and help of other trainers. Whatever he doesn't carry, somebody else is going to have. Maybe he's setting an example, an extreme example, to show that people can get by with less. So if you look at every one of those Randall's classes in the photos that they show on their online site, every single person there has a pack greater than 22 pounds. Most of them look like they're at least 35 to 55 pounds, kind of in that range. My backpack comes in at 46 pounds with the contents that you see here, and I'll kind of cover that. By the way, the backpack that's being used, you can see in parts 1 through 6 and the philosophy behind using these. This is the Cabelas Alaskan 1-pack. The way that you see it sitting right there with these little admin pouches on it, the whistle, and some of the lashing that's actually hanging down that I use to kind of tidy everything together, it comes in at 5.7 pounds. You know, it is an external frame, but it can carry one heck of a load. The idea behind an external frame hunting pack like this is that you would take off your kit, so that could be removed from the frame, and then you would stack your load, whatever that is. Typically it's going to be meat of whatever game you've just harvested. So it is made to carry a lot of load, and it's made to do it in comfort. At 46 pounds, this thing's very manageable. Okay, I've adjusted that camera a little bit. Let's just start up here at the upper right. This is what I call my snacks kit. I've got salt and pepper, some garlic in there, jerky sticks, breakfast bars. I've got dried cranberries. I've got some of those nutty bars. Those are those peanut butter and chocolate wafer sticks that you can buy. I think they're made by Little Debbie or one of the other companies, but they're super high calorie, 350 calories per pack, and ultra lightweight because it's just a wafer. I've got hot chocolate in here, sunflower seeds, lots of other high cal things. A couple of things that I wanted to show you that I kind of like, without going into too much crazy detail, are these Belvita graham cracker cookies. These are blueberry flavored. They're pretty lightweight and they've got a real good taste. A nice breakfast bar, something to mix it up a little bit. These other bars that I like are called Pro bars, and these are not as lightweight as, say, the Nutty bars in there, but they're pretty high calorie, and overall, like this one's 370 calories and pretty small. Most of this is packaging, so you can see it's a pretty small shape there outside of the wrapper. But that's the kind of stuff that's in here, and sometimes this would actually replace a breakfast or a lunch. So typically what I would try to do is have a freeze-dried breakfast of some type, and then I would do something like this for lunch because I was on the move, and then I would go with a large dinner of some type. But my whole goal is to try to get in anywhere from about 2,000 to 2,400 calories a day, and that's what this kit allows me to do. All right, the next bag here, this is just a Tyvek 511 boot bag. I think my 511 boots came in this bag, but I've got all of my freeze-dried meals in here, and I just like to put it in a bag, keep it all together. This fits at the very base of the pack, so that center of gravity, I like to keep it low or just above the midsection of my back there. So this goes at the very bottom. I can also access this through the front pocket of this Alaskan pack. I also have a large Costco-sized beef jerky bag in here, as well as about 8 or 10 cups of rice. I can't remember exactly, but I put that in a Ziploc bag, threw a couple of those moisture-absorbing packs in there, and I've got some bouillon cubes in there. But what I like about the rice is that it can add calories to your other freeze-dried meals. Sometimes you get a little bit too much water in there. It's great to throw some rice in there, and it kind of soaks up the rest of the water so that you're not eating a soup. Of course, it does add calories. So I think I put 8 cups in there. So we've got a lot of calories in here. By the way, this weighs 6.39 pounds, and this comes in at about 2.75 pounds. Let's call it 10 pounds together just for the sake of simplicity, as we're talking about some other things. This is my Marmont sleeping bag. It's a 25-degree rated bag. I got it on sale for about 79 bucks. I think they're typically about 160. And this is all wrapped in a Sea to Summit bag. This is a 600 fill down bag. Not real expensive. Comes in at about 2.1 pounds, 2.2 pounds with this little case on it right here. Lightweight. I don't compress it too much because I like to make it a little bit flat like this so that it fits over on the side of the pack over here. Alright, this one here is just a little REI compression sack, and I've got my clothing items in there. If you're curious about what I'm carrying for a winter kit with regards to clothes, go ahead and check out parts 1 through 6. That's detailed in there. Can't remember the weight of this. I think it's right at just under 3 pounds. This is my Hennessy hammock. This is the ultralight backpack model, asymmetrical tarp on it. I also have a couple of carabiners in there, and one day I'll show you how I hang this thing and why I like to carry carabiners. So they're also multi-purpose, and I like to hang my hammock with this system. I've never had it slip or sag or anything. So looking at about 2 pounds in here with the carabiners. Next item here is my SOL Escape Bivy. This is a highly water-resistant bivy. I spent a night in a rainstorm where it was really pounding down on me. I actually have a video series about that. I'll annotate it and make a link if you want to see that video. I actually like that 3-part series a lot. In any case, I like this. It's lightweight and it gives me a real cover. And the whole idea behind this is if I do have wet weather, I can stick my sleeping bag in this. This also breathes from the inside, so it will let moisture out. Most of the other all of the other SOL escape type bivvies, actually they're not called escape, but all the other bivvies do not vent or they don't let moisture out. This one does, so it's going to help you stay a little bit drier. Now when it's wet outside, it might not, the moisture content might balance out, but when it's dry out, that moisture is going to leave the bag and it's going to leave this bivvy. I really like this. I think I spent a 35-degree night is what it was in December in the desert with this, and not a lot of clothing, so worked out really good. Impressive product. Heading over to the other side here is the Z-lite from Thermarest. Before I was carrying hopefully I'm in frame, Before I was carrying a ridge rest or a ridge crest. That's the one that rolls up, and you always end up with that dead space or that donut in the center. Now if you wrap it up real tight, obviously that end ends up getting kind of kinked over. So in cold weather, you have to wrestle with it a little bit, especially in and out of the hammock. I put it in the hammock and it wants to curl up before I can get in there. So I like this one because it's much more space efficient. You can see how these little patterns here actually interlock with each other rather than stacking on top of each other like this, kind of like the ridge rest did. This also seems to have a little bit more, I guess I wouldn't call it loft, but it seems to have a little bit more thickness or depth, and it feels softer overall than the other one. I also gained about 6 or 8 inches worth of length here on this mat, which only cost me another ounce and a quarter from the other one. But I like the extra length. It kind of gets under my knees a little bit more and makes it a little bit more comfortable in the hammock. Now I can also lay this on the ground, combined with with this. This is my next item, by the way, and I can sleep in my hammock on the ground because it does have a bug net system and I don't have critters coming in on me, which is kind of nice. I always sleep a little bit better if I don't have bugs crawling on me. So really nice product. I like this. You can see how easily this opens and closes. It's just a no fuss system. I love it. So I kind of relegated the other one to a desert pack. By the way, because of my terrain out here and being desert, the air mattress thing it just does not work out here. So we go with a closed cell foam like this that's never going to leak. I never have a problem with that. This is the SOL SUB Sport Utility Blanket. Heavily reflective. It's got orange on the other side. I've already set this up with Cordage and figure 9 holders, the little night eye figure 9s, the small ones, the 25-pound load ones. And so this thing's ready to prop up. It will give me a little bit more additional coverage if my hammock, if maybe I've got a lot of blowing rain or something coming in, I can put this on one side as well, and that will kind of help to eliminate a lot of airflow coming through or a lot of water. Just a nice thing to have. Plus it makes it great for ground camping. So if I want to throw this on the ground, throw this on top of it, and sleep in the hammock on the ground, I can do that as well. Right now it is set up as a winter kit, and I have 6 liters of water. 6 liters times 2.2 is 13.2 pounds worth of water. So water is heavy stuff. Between this and my food, I'm at 23.2 pounds approximately, if we call that 10 pounds. So you can see where a lot of this weight is. Now the total pack weight is only 46 pounds, and 5.7 of that is in the pack itself. So you can see I was as careful as I could be to get a lot of lightweight items here that were still durable and reliable and gear that I know well. So 1.5 liter smart water bottles. Summertime I'll probably be losing some weight in clothing and shelter, but I'm going to carry 7 liters of water, and these will be replaced with 2 liter Coke bottles, cleaned out and filled with water. It's a good tough container that's lightweight, which is why I like this. I've got more containers than this, as you'll see, and I've got the 3 liter platypus right here that fits in the middle of the pack. Starting here with my cook system, one of the things that I wanted to do with the stove is go very bulletproof. I didn't want the extra bulk of a lot of fuel canisters, and I wanted to go with something that could run on unleaded fuel if I wanted or needed to. So it's just maybe one of those disaster relief items. I wanted something real bulletproof. Well, I've had an MSR International, a Whisper Light before, with the old style legs on it, and it was such a great stove that I incorporated the newer one into this kit. So it's a little bit heavier stove, but boy do they work great. They work in cold weather. You can see I've got a 20-ounce fuel bottle here. I've got the pump wrapped up on the top so that that's not poking into other gear or causing a problem with a water bladder or one of these thin bottles. So I kind of wanted to protect my other items against getting poked. This one's going to ride inside of that MSR case that you see down at the end over there, and you'll notice that I like to store all of my gear in a case of some type and keep it organized and have everything separated so I can go right to an item and pull it out. A lot of the ultra lightweight backpacking crowd they'll shove a bunch of items in a jacket, ball it up, stick that down at the bottom, put their other stuff somewhere else, and then they'll wedge in their sleeping bag, stringing it all through their bag wherever the thing will fit. That is probably fine what they're doing, and if it works for that, that's cool, but I find in the long run it's just more trouble than it's worth, especially in a disaster relief type of scenario or a bug out scenario. You want to have your gear protected, organized. You want to be able to see if something is missing easily. It's just too easy to pull a sleeping bag out and there goes your flashlight or there goes your knife and it falls between a rock or it blends in with the pine cones and you never see it again. It's a disorganized way of doing things, but it's done at to the advantage of a featherlight system in a peacetime scenario where there's no stress. You're leaving your car, you're going to go have fun for 3 days, and you're coming back to a car, you're stopping at Burger King on the way home, getting a hamburger and going home. So that's okay. I wouldn't be opposed to doing that myself for an overnighter, but with this kind of a kit, I like everything organized, which is why you see a container or a pack for everything. Okay, let's go over here. This is the Snow Peak 700 titanium cup. Nice high volume cup. It's metal, it's dent resistant, and I can cook small game or boil small game in here if I wanted to. Small bits of meat, squirrel, chipmunk, that kind of thing. So if it turns into a prolonged situation where I've gone through my food stores or I'm using it to supplement my food stores, this is really nice, as well as this kettle. This is the GSI aluminum kettle, by the way. I really love this thing. This is really cool. You can boil a lot of water in this. You can cook in it if you want to. And sometimes I just like this little rig so much that I actually use it on my home stove just for fun. So I enjoy hot chocolate, so I will warm up water in there sometimes. You can see I've got a little kit here for the stove. It's got silicone, a tool, wrench, some extra seals, a little Bic lighter. I've got redundant fire here, but it's nice to have it all in one kit, and that goes in this right here. This also helps to prevent the little legs and sharp objects from poking into the rest of the bag or coming out of a side pocket. It's pretty durable stuff. Okay, this little Reflectix piece right here. This is just a little sit pad that I carry. I fold it in half and stick it on the top pocket of my backpack. Really handy. It's great to put under the neck if you're in the hammock, and it's great for sitting around to keep your pants from getting wet if it's rainy or snowy out. So I like to carry this. Pick that up from one of the guys on hammock forums. Got the little Sea to Summit titanium or aluminum spork. It's got that long handle on it. I featured this in my 5 lightweight cheap gear items video that I did recently. Next thing on here is just a piece of mosquito netting, another one of those 5 items that I had in that video. This is a ACR reflective mirror with a sight on it. I do like a little bit larger mirror, even though a smaller mirror is capable of being seen from a great distance. I kind of like this because it's multi-purpose. If I have to get something out of my eye, or I have to use it in a way as a mirror rather than a signaling device, it gives me a little bit more surface area to work with there. Another one of those 5 lightweight gear items that I featured in that video was this Outdoor Products Day Pack. Super light, only weighs a couple of ounces, and this would be something that I would take out of my pack, put my 10 C's of survivability in there, as per Dave Canterbury, his 10 C's or his 5 C's, whichever you're carrying. I've got room to carry the 10 in here. So if I got to my destination and I wanted to go down to the water hole, fill up with water, and maybe scout the perimeter of my area, maybe I'm even setting a few traps or gathering firewood, I'm going to have this on me. That way, if I do something stupid and walk away from the pack and somehow lose the location, I'm not going to be helpless out there. Alright, next items on here. This is my survival lanyard. If you're curious what this is all about, this was featured in my I Should Be Alive series, and I talk about all the philosophy behind that and why I've selected the items on here. So that goes right here. This is a PFAC, or personal first aid kit, that I've slimmed it down, added a couple things, taken a few things out, and I've got just what I need in a little kit that weighs 0.39 pounds, and will do all I need it to. This is my fire kit. I have wet fire in here. I've got a Victorinox tin that I have char cloth in. It also has a little hole in the top, so I can also burn or produce additional char cloth if I have cotton. Couple sets of lifeboat matches, a large striker, a ferrocerium rod and a striker in there, some dryer lint, and some match strikers. Pretty basic kit. And I've got a couple cigarette lighters in this kit as well. So this is my little utility hardware kit, I'll call it. It's got batteries, wire, waxed tent repair twine, thimble, needles, knife sharpener, that's a diamond sharpener. I've got duct tape, ranger bands, tent repair kit or slash fabric repair kit. This here was actually recommended by one of my viewers, one of the commenters. That is a buckle. This is the main buckle for the very front. That's the main buckle on the backpack. It's a pretty critical feature or a pretty critical item. If that goes bad on you or you're dealing with a situation with that, yes, it's possible to get around that if you've got some cordage and some paracord, but it's going to be a headache for you the rest of the trip. And in a situation where you don't know how long you're going to be out there, boy, having that is like pure gold. Put a new buckle on. Because, you know, you can't tell when that thing, I've never broken one of those. But I saw a guy that was on a 10-day canoeing trip. Maybe it was 7 days, but he was on a canoeing trip through Canada, and his broke. So in any case, I put one of those in there. I've got a Write in the Rain little journal in there. I've got my New Testament Bible. I heard my phone make a noise, and I thought it was my camera shutting off. I've got my New Testament Bible, a pen, and yeah, so it's my little hardware kit right there. Alright, next thing here, I have the Nitecore EA1. That's a AA flashlight, and I use a lithium L91 Energizer battery in there. Hopefully that's in focus because I can't see the screen. Lightweight battery, lithium formula, and it's going to do real good in cold weather. Don't use alkaline, guys, as your outdooring cells. Spend a little extra money and get this because the reliability goes up tenfold. These aren't going to drain, self-discharge, they're not going to leak, and they do better in cold weather. I've got the same cell, by the way, in this z-lite H502D. The D is the daylight model, or very close to sunlight as far as the Kelvin temperature goes. Super small, lightweight, great user interface. I don't know why I haven't done a review video on this, but I've recommended this to several friends, including another YouTuber, Campfire Talk, who uses his for jogging, fitness, and outdooring. Loves the light, it sounds like. Okay, the next item on here is just some stakes. Obviously, this is something that you can fashion when you're outdoors, but it's always nice. Sometimes you don't have time to go finding sticks that are going to support a load and carve those out. So it's nice to have at least 4 that'll get you started. Maybe you need 8 to set up camp, especially if it's windy and you need extra tie downs. That's when I'll do that, but it's good to have 4 sturdy. These are just aluminum tri-sided tent stakes. Okay, here's my little bathroom kit. Probably should have done that with the others. Toothbrush, camp soap, Neosporin, Listerine strips, some sunblock, Body Glide, anti-chafing stuff for the skin, and a whole bunch of, I think that's 175 yards of dental floss. It's multi-function, but good stuff, good to have. This is my M1C compass made by Suntu. Great compass. I've got one in every one of my major kits. This is what I've used for my hunting and archery and outdooring for the last 15, 20 years. So it's just a great compass, and I'm very acquainted with it. I've got a Leatherman Juice S2. I don't require a full-size multi-tool in this pack, and I'm trying to save on grams, and this is one of the ways to do it. It's got a nice set of pliers that do most of what I need it to. Chapstick, earplugs. These items are all carried in these little front pockets on my pack. Items that I might have to get to quickly or that I use frequently. The earplugs, by the way, I figure if I ever had to utilize that whistle there, that I can put in these earplugs, blow on that thing like mad for a minute or two, take out my earplugs and listen. So Otherwise, you can't hear a response if your ears are ringing or you've desensitized your ears after blowing on that for a long time. I've never done that, but I have used game calls, coyote calls before, and blowing on those for 10-15 minutes, your ears are ringing. You can't hear very well after that. Okay, I've got a 35-foot hank of paracord here, a 45-foot hank of paracord here, 75-foot hank of CountyCom utility cord. I'm well equipped on the Cordage side here. I also have a SOG saw. This is a large toothed saw, and it seems to go through the softwoods, the pine, a little bit better than my Baco, just a little bit faster. So I keep the Baco in my desert kit where I run into more hardwoods and more difficult woods, and I keep this for my northern country setup. And because I don't know what this is going to be called on to do. It could be a low desert kit, a high desert kit, or a northern woodland kit, because we've got all three of those in Arizona. Quite a lot of forest up above 6,500 feet, and going all the way up to well, 12.5 if you count the mountain ranges. But we've got large quantities of land over 8,000 feet as well. Alright, next item on here is my SOG Northwest Ranger. This is a stainless steel AUS 8 blade. I typically prefer a carbon steel blade to really beat on, but for this type of use, this knife will hang in there just fine. All it has to do is give me 3 or 4 weeks of wicked hard service, and I think it would do that and then some. So nice lightweight solution, and I've modified the case on this. I also have a video on that, which I might annotate if I remember. I've got 3 small rolls of toilet paper here, probably more than I need for the 7-day kit, but there it is. It's lightweight, doesn't take up a lot of space. Here's my Frog Tog lowers. That's my rainwear. This is my Frog Tog upper. It's my upper rainwear. Works really good. It's got nice elastic on it. Again, it's not made to last through an entire year of hunting or outdooring, but it would certainly give me more than enough capability, and it'll get me through several weeks of use, even using hard, as long as I don't tear it wide open. This is my Sawyer Squeeze water filter system that I'm using with this kit. I've got this detailed out in a review video. I also have a second video called Patriot's Water Filter Solutions, or something to that effect, which just talks about all the filters that I've used over the years, what I like, what I don't like, and just kind of a wrap up there. Both of those videos are back, I don't know, maybe a dozen or so. Next item on here is just some sunglasses. These are some photosensitive revisions, so when it's darker out they get a little lighter, and when it's bright out they get a little bit more clear. I keep those in a little soft case here so that they don't get scratched up. They got a lot of flexibility, so I'm not worried about them cracking. Next item is just some knee pads. I got some chaff from some of the guys on when I did that video that, man, what are you carrying knee pads for? Well, it's just an outdooring item that I find helpful, especially this lightweight. These, I forget what these weigh, but it's almost nothing. There's a little bit of bulk, a little bit of size there, but hey, if I've got the space in the pack, I'm going to carry these. You notice I don't have a big tactical knee pad or anything like that. I don't need that capability. I don't need it to last me 10 years. I just need something cheap that's $4 that when I'm around camp I can lean over, tend to the fire, process wood, that type of thing, without sticking a stick through my knee, or kneeling on a rock, or just tearing up my clothes. You take a good pant of some type, and you feel that microstructure full of soil and soot and whatever else, mud, and all of a sudden the qualities of the pant that make it a good pant, it's not working anymore because the fabric isn't what it's designed to be. I keep myself as clean as possible by wearing these. The knee's a contact point. I'm on one now. This is why I like these. It saves the knees. These are some Gorilla Grip gloves. These were also featured in my lightweight items. Right now in my winter kit, I have another glove in here, but those will be coming out in favor of some mechanics type gloves that give me a little bit more than this, but these are super thin, lightweight. Alright guys, I think that is everything. Again, 46, it's actually 45.9 pounds. Call it 46 for the sake of simplicity. I hope that this video is helpful. It gets right to the nitty gritty, and hopefully I won't be over 20 minutes on this either. Besides, I want to go for a bike ride. So if you have any questions or comments, please send them in. Some of the comments in here, like that buckle and the amount of paracord that I had, were direct changes from comments that were on the previous 1 through 6 videos. If you're interested in those, they are long-winded but very detailed, so feel free to go back and check those out. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate the views. Thanks to all my subs, and Patriot out.